Jim Lampley live in Glens Falls, New York. Marvis Frazier, despite his 1983 one-round knockout loss to then-champion Larry Holmes, remains a marketable name in the heavyweight division. But here, the spotlight falls most directly on 20-year-old Mike Tyson, whose public appeal grows every time he fights. Here now is a quick update on what has happened with Tyson since his string of 19 straight knockouts ended with a 10-round decision over James Tillis on Wide World of Sports. Since last we saw Mike Tyson here on ABC Sports in May, he's added 4 more wins to his record. In his first fight after the Tillis decision, Mitch Green again took Mike the distance, but Tyson dominated throughout. And in his next fight against Reggie Gross in June, Mike showed the ability to take a punch, absorbing this uppercut before coming back seconds later to end the fight with a left hook. His knockout streak began anew and continued with a one-round dismantling of William Hosea, a 2-minute, 3-second fight. And in his last fight, Mike brought his win streak to 24 with a knockout of Lorenzo Boyd. A stiff uppercut ended matters in the second round. On his present schedule, Tyson fights more often than any other current boxer with status and marketability. Is it better to learn in the gym or in the ring? Boxing figures are divided.
I don't think he sufficiently has time to really get into the gym and learn. You can say, look, I can put him in with a stiff at each fight. And in the gym, I can bring in and pay good sparring partners with different styles, a runner, a slugger, a grabber, a holder, stuff like that, understand? But where has he really got the time for that there if you're fighting him every 2 weeks?
People today don't understand that the way human beings are structured, whether you fight or a brain surgeon or play the piano or throw rocks at a telephone pole, no matter what you're good at, if you do it once every 4 months, you're not going to be as good as if you do it once a week. It's the way human beings are structured.
The fighters Jacobs refers to include great featherweight champion Willie Pep, who fought 32 times in his first 16 months as a pro. Homicide Henry Armstrong, who once defended his welterweight title 5 times in 1 month. And Joe Louis, who defended his heavyweight crown more than any other fighter in the division's history. Tyson believes the schedule the late Cus D'Amato wanted for him is the one which will work best as he seeks the goal of winning the heavyweight crown.
It keeps my mind occupied on my business, and I'm not off my job much. I'm not out in the street. I'm not running around, not hanging out with the guys as much and the girls. So my mind is preoccupied on my work, and it keeps me as sharp as possible. As many times as I fight, I become more immune to walking and being announced in front of a great deal of audience and everything. And as of now, it's becoming, like I say, an easy job. It's like every day I'm used to coming in front of 10,000 people, 20,000 people. I'm like, hi, they're all my friends.
The late and legendary trainer Cus D'Amato was the only real father figure Mike Tyson ever knew. Marvis Frazier's father, ever present in his life, is one of the most famous names in heavyweight boxing. It was called the fight of the century. March 8, 1971, Joe Frazier knocked down Muhammad Ali in the 15th round on his way to a unanimous decision to retain his heavyweight crown. Joe's long since retired and now trains fighters here in his own gym in Philadelphia. One of those, his own son Marvis, who works alongside other members of the Frazier clan. Marvis has developed into a solid 210-pound professional fighter, adding 20 pounds onto the body which first came to public attention in 1979 when he became the junior world amateur heavyweight champion by stopping an Austrian fighter named Olaf Meyer. After only 10 pro fights, many felt Marvis was rushed into a shot at Larry Holmes. They were correct. Holmes stopped Marvis in the first round. But since that 1983 disaster, Marvis Frazier has rebounded with 6 straight victories, including decision wins over able opponents James Tillis, Jose Ribalta, and in his last fight in February over James Bone Crusher Smith. Though dropped in the middle of the fight, Marvis battled back against the larger Smith to capture the late rounds and a unanimous decision. Marvis is not the first famous heavyweight son to take the ring. There have been others with names like Fitzsimmons, Walcott, and Bear, all failures. But Marvis feels this union has proved beneficial in his case.
When you have a father training you, there's that tense emotion that you're always trying to do the best for your father. But then on the other hand, you know, you always have that encouragement to keep you going when times seem kind of hard for you.
Joe keeps a watchful eye on his son, as his father did for him back in Beaufort, South Carolina. It's a special responsibility.
That's a broad word, man. What you say? Father. It's like, you know, there's a lot of daddies in the world today, but there's very few fathers. I think fathers should take control of families because that's one part of you. I mean, it was that lady and you brought this kid in this world. So how you not going to be a father? How you not going to be a good leader? I don't understand. I didn't come from that school.
It's a brutal business, but Marvis Frazier believes that working in it has kept this father and son close.
My father's my father. I can't change that. You know, I love him. He loves me. So that just makes it even better, you know? You have somebody that you really love and that you really care for in your corner.
Michael, give me first your reaction to the fight.
The fight, I was confident. I trained real hard with my trainer, Kevin Rooney, who I owe a great deal to. And I came out and I was confident. I came out, I knew the fight. I felt it deep in my heart. I was going to stop him in the first round.
Did you know from watching tapes of him that you could hit him with the uppercut?
No, that's my favorite punch. And I watched the time, and I knew from my trainer telling me, as he throws his punches, he bends down. And I knew that would be perfect for my uppercut. I planned on working the body more, but I saw the opportunity, and it looked too good to go away.
You stuck him back in that corner with the jab, Mike. Is that jab going to become a big part of your repertoire as you go along?
Almost definitely. Me and my trainer have been working constantly on the jab. And as you say, I feel so confident, and I knew deep down in my blood that I was going to stop him in the first round.
You said that you feel fear before a fight. Did you have any fear for this fight, and how do you deal with that fear?
Well, I use the fear to reflect it on my opponent, because fear I use as my friend. It's my friend. If I don't have it, I don't fight.
In your mind, if your managers Jim Jacobs and Bill Caton and your trainer Kevin Rooney came to you and said, Mike, we think you're ready for a title shot tomorrow, would you agree with them at this point?
Most definitely. Anytime if my manager and my trainers feel that I'm confident and they're willing to put me in a title and they're sure I could beat the champion, I'm sure I could beat them also.
Of the three champions, who would you like to fight and why?
I'd fight anybody my trainer put me in with because I'm confident I could beat any fighter in the world.
What do you think of the three champions?
They're all good fighters because you have to be a good fighter. You can't take nothing away from them to become the champion. But I'm confident and I'm ready. And I'm ready when my trainer tells me.
Good, Michael. Let's take a look at the replay of the knockout. We can almost play the entire fight in slow-mo. Here you're putting it back in the corner. There's the jab flicking out. Again the jab. And here comes the uppercut.
Watch, look, everything's precise. I watch his hand come up. Watch him come down. As soon as he come down, boom! Look at that. Watch him come down. I knew he would come down.
Get ready to say boom again, Michael.
All right, boom. Look, and now look. Boom. Come on. Boom. Again. I'm going to hit him one more time. I like to hit him.
Missed with that one, I would have killed him.
What can I say? What can I say? That's all she wrote.
Missed with that one.
Kevin Rooney, Mike Tyson's trainer. What do you go back in the gym when he gives such a perfect performance? How can you tell him he's got to improve?
Well, I'm going to tell him that he could have went to the body a little bit more. You know, in 30 seconds, it's hard to get any criticism, but he could have worked the body a little bit more.
Tremendous uppercut. He looked sensational, Kevin. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. He's ready. He's ready to fight anybody in the world.
Let me talk to Jim Jacobs, the co-manager of Mike Tyson. Jim, first of all, quickly, is a Larry Holmes fight in the works as Mike's fight later this year?
Oh, most definitely. It's a fight that when we meet with Larry and his people, we're going to work out the terms and conditions.
That will be Tuesday of this week?
Well, in the middle of the week, we're going to meet with them, yes, and it's something that we will work out for the future. Absolutely.
Congratulations on a sensational showing by your fighter.
Well,
thanks, Jim.
Very much.
Now let's go back down to Jim Lampley at ringside.
Alex, the second defeat of Marvis Frazier's career, both of them one-round knockouts, one at the hands of a man who was heavyweight champion at that time. Now this one at the hands of a man who many believe will soon be a heavyweight champion.
a little leery. I knew I was in there with a good fighter that went the distance with some good fighters, and I was planning on just putting the pressure on him from the beginning to the end. I planned on coming out with a jab because I watched him in the DeWitt fight, and he was countering with the right hand good. And coming in the first round, I got grazed with a right hand, and from then on, I know to slip my head and just keep coming forward.
As for Benjamin, well, he was thoroughly impressed.
He have a sledgehammer, man. You know, when I go down there, I feel it. He ready hit hard. It's the hardest I ever been hit.
It is the hardest here.
The hardest of my whole career, man.
They keep lining him up, and Kid Catskill keeps knocking him down, and there'll be no let-up for Mike Tyson either.
He goes to Houston on the 13th. He's going to fight some Texas champ that I think the guy's Richardson is his name. I don't know anything about him. They're supposed to have a film. But again, as long as Mike can hit them, if he hits them clean, they're going to go.
So Mike Tyson continues to be a very busy man, but it's getting harder and harder now to find anybody who wants anything to do with him. I mean, no fighter wants to get run over by a truck.
Mike Tyson, nice to have you in Houston, Texas. You made quite an impression.
Well, thank you very much. The town is beautiful itself, and I'm glad to be welcomed here.
Well, you lost a dear friend in Cus D'Amato not too long ago, and a lot of people thought you might not come down here and fight. You were quoted as saying Cus would have wanted it that way.
Well, most definitely. Even though he didn't, Cus D'Amato, being around him since the age of 13, I'm more like business orientated, and I know not to let anything get involved with business. You know, things happen. We all have disappointments, but we can't let these things stop our lives. We have to go on.
Nothing's going to stop your life, young man. Let's look at the two knockouts now.
Surely.
You caught Richardson early. The first punch you threw. Go ahead and describe it.
Well, as you can see, he was poking his jab out, and I was going low, throwing my jab to his body, keeping his mind preoccupied with my jab to his body, and then unpredictable, a right hand coming up top, and they caught him.
I said to Mickey Herskowitz that this knockout punch looked to me like a Joe Frazier left. What would you say to that?
Well, I wouldn't say that at all because everything I threw, it was timed. I knew where it was going ahead of time. He was awkward. He was more on the defensive. That's like some of the punches were missing. But as you see right here, that one punch, I saw his hand come down, and I threw the punch as his hand was up there because I knew it was coming down. And then that's when the punch timely caught him on the chin, and he didn't know where he was at all. Hopefully, and I'm glad he's okay.
Okay, well, Mickey, you've got a question?
Mike, your fights have been so quick to this point. Seems hardly worth the trip down, but are you getting to a point where you need longer fights, where you need somebody to carry you, I mean, to extend you a bit?
Well, Mick, it's hard to explain this because I'm in the gym and I'm boxing 10 rounds all the time in the gym. And I'm boxing with good fighters, contenders. And if I could box with contenders and hold my own, I'm most definitely sure I could come in here and box 10 rounds with any man.
Sounds like you're getting your best work in the gym then.
Most likely, yes.
Who would you like to fight right now?
Anybody my manager signs the contract with. My manager says fight him, I'm in the ring with him.
And a final question about Cus D'Amato. We knew him. He was, of course, one of the great legendary figures of boxing, one of the colorful characters, and one of the great trainers of sport. What did he teach you, and what is it that you will miss the most that you learned from Cus D'Amato that you got from Cus?
Well, can I tell you, I miss Cus dearly. When Cus left, he had a great influence not only on me, but so many people in the boxing business, a great deal of people in the boxing business. And mostly, the great thing about Cus, every man must believe in himself. You must have the confidence, and you must, no matter what the situation is, you must face the problem. Don't care who it is. Eddie Richardson, world champion, 6'10", 6'12", 400 pounds, muscle bound. You face your problem because that's part of being a man and developing character.
The post-fight niceties. I thought Conroy Nelson, well, in fact, I wasn't the only one who thought Conroy Nelson would stretch him, and he did, into round 2.
Very good fighter, experienced fighter, within good fighters. But a friend of mine from Canada called Davey Hilton was telling me about him and about the clutch he tried the whole time. But he surprised me because he wasn't trying to hold, he was fighting.
I'm going to tell you something. I think he was here to pick up a paycheck. The first round, all he did was cover up.
Well, maybe he was a little leery about the puncher power. But again, that's you saying because you're not fighting. He took some good shots, but anybody else, they would have quit.
Yeah, that right left was devastating.
Thank you very much.